Okay, so I think we're actually live now, which is terrific.
Uh,
Um, Again, apologize for being a few minutes late. And apologize for not having as I was saying, okay, as I was saying to everybody on the call, is unfortunately we don't have a really formal topic tonight. It's a little more informal meeting. Mainly that's due to my limitations. Uh, this month. So I apologize for that. But we are working on getting several speakers for the upcoming months. I've been talking to several people, and hopefully get some interesting stuff of interest to everybody. Um, I guess one thing I wanted to, I guess a couple things we have to do. I don't know if Gerald, do you know what the quorum is? Yeah, I should know that answer, but you are on mute, sir.
I think it was 5 people last we counted. I
Okay.
can't
yeah,
remember, but
that sounds about right. It was a very low number.
it's
Yeah,
like 10
well,
or 15% of the membership, something like
right.
that.
So
20%.
the good news is, yeah, so we do need to do we'll get our business out of the way up front. We do have one vote that came in via email electronically. Um, we need to have a vote for the officers. Currently let's actually do it formally. Currently there are 3 officer positions. We have one candidate for each one, myself for the executive officer and Gerald for secretary and John DeFreitas for treasurer. John couldn't make it tonight, but I did talk to him, make sure he was actually willing to serve. uh, so the way we would normally do it, we would open the floor. We could open if anybody has any additional nominations. Just feels like they want to run. Can If not, all that volunteer energy. Yeah. If not, then we need to have a vote. So do I have a motion to, you know,
I'll make a motion to accept all the candidates
yeah,
that were named.
by
I'll
acclaim?
second
Yep.
that.
We have a motion of acclaim. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Aye. So, all opposed? None. So I counted 4 plus 1, the one we got. That's 5 votes. That counts. Or I guess Tom's there too.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that would be 5. That would be total of 6. So congratulations. Um, so we have that. We have that out of the way. I apologize again. That's late this year. We'll get it on time next year. So a couple things, couple of administrative things. First of all, remind everybody that our next observing session is scheduled for August 31st. That's really the September observing session. We did it on October 31st just because that was the best time in the new moon zone, right? Closest to the new moon. So we'll try again October 31st. And hopefully we'll get some clear weather. I mean, we've had a couple of days, a couple nights here where it's been marginally clear, which has really been the first time we've seen a stretch of clear weather and probably this summer. So hopefully we're moving into a period where we can get some clear weather.
Yeah, I got out some last night. It wasn't bad. Transparency wasn't all that great, but the seeing was decent.
And compared to what we've had, hopefully hopefully we'll get some good weather on the 31st. So that would be really good. I also want to thank Tim for all the work he's been doing on the newsletter. I know hopefully everybody's read the newsletter, and Tim's doing a great job, and I'll make a further call for any articles for the newsletter. Really anything. If you find something online that you think is cool, send it to Tim. All right. We can either republish the link or we can chase the author for permission to reprint stuff. I usually find most of the amateur astronomers that post stuff are more than happy to give permission to do that. So, and you don't have to go to a lot of trouble to write an article. You just send the basics in the email and Tim will do the wordsmithing and smith it up into something that it looks good, so really just whatever. If you find something cool or you do a cool project, yeah, so I did try something and I wanted to kind of share with everybody, and I don't know why I decided to do this, but like why do I decide to do anything, right? So I'm going to try to share my screen. Be pretty boring at first, I think. So Gerald did a great job designing our logo. Everybody's seen our logo. But I was kind of curious. I had my, I have a subscription to ChatGPT, and it's really actually the AI is pretty cool in terms of what it can do. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but you can ask it to make. You can ask not only do text things, but make images, programs, even videos. It's actually pretty cool, and it's getting better and better all the time. So I kind of asked it. Basically, I asked, "Hey, I need a logo for the Grand Strand Astronomers Astronomy Club," and I mentioned it had to include an alligator, right? And I thought I'd just let its brain go and see what it would come up with, right? And so the first one it came up with looked like this, which is not too bad. Do what?
I like it.
So one of the things about ChatGPT and all this generative AI, but especially ChatGPT, the reason they call it ChatGPT is it's meant to be interactive, right? Like you give it a prompt, if it doesn't do what you want or it's not exactly what you want, you say it has memory, so it knows what you asked it before, and it says, "Oh, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, but make a change or make a change." Right? And I'll have to pull up the dialogue. Let me just pull up the dialogue real quick that I was asking it. And Tim, you'll see I have submissions. A reminder: do submissions for the letter, so newsletter. So I'll remember to send you the stuff I owe you. I put that on my calendar. Give me just 1 second here to pull up the dialogue. It keeps a history of all your dialogue. So yeah, so this first one, okay, it's being a little slow. Okay. I basically, this one came, my thing said, can you generate a logo for the Grand Strand Astronomy Club that features an alligator? Right, because I wanted to see what came out of its brain. Right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and close this and bring this one over so we can actually see it, what happened. Right. So I said, can you generate a logo for the Grand Strand Astronomy Club that features an alligator? Right. And they gave me that. And, it says, okay, features an alligator. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments. So I said, well, can you add some beach elements? Right. We're near the beach. Right. And so then it came up with this.
Cool.
Alongside the alligator and astronomy themes, right? So I guess this is the astronomy themes, right? Kind of a little too beachy for me, right? I said, great, can you add a telescope?
Yeah.
And then this is what it came out with.
Huh.
And I don't know why it stuck these random Greek letters in. Well, it did, but it's kind of cool.
Nice telescope.
Do what?
Nice telescope.
Yeah. And then I said, what are they? And they said, oh, yeah, what are the Greek letters? Phi, Psi, Omega, And then I, of course, asked it. Sorry, I started asking it for some other stuff right in the same chat. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I just basically gave it some really simple prompts and it generated some images for us. So It's kind of really, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Right.
But I thought it was just interesting. You can ask it all kinds of questions. I noticed that if you ask anything too technical, like about astronomy, it struggles. But if you do general type stuff, yeah, Tim.
I got another question you can ask it. Can you ask it to do the logo with a white background? Because this black square on our newsletter is just going to be like, it won't look right.
Let's see if I can um, see if it'll call it.
I mean, they all look great to me.
Hopefully, it remembers that.
Yeah, it needs
We'll
to
see.
see, it needs to say Grand Strand Astronomers rather than Grand Strand Astronomy Club, because that's our official title.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Oh wow, no, 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 no. It doesn't always get it right, by the way. Oh, is this ChatGPT 4? Yeah, that's part of the problem. Oh, I actually did. That's interesting.
Gee, I like that one.
He made a few little mistakes, but
Yeah,
Yeah, it still says club.
yeah.
What's the stuff after the D that kind of makes the Grand Strand look lopsided?
yeah.
Hmm.
It's not like taking digital pictures, though. I mean, you keep trying as much as you want, right? Um, uh, yeah, hang on. I'm gonna go to the paid. This is the free version. Oh, I
Bang for
did.
your buck, huh?
The the I did say astronomy club.
Before you click it, can you say no background?
Oh, like transparent background.
Yes, because that's still going to pop out. It's going to be completely different from the one from the astronomical.
Sure. It's just an experiment, right? I
Yeah,
thought I'd
yeah,
play
no
around with it,
problem.
right?
You're getting there.
Like astronators. No.
That's a big alligator.
You can tell this is not a rehearsed presentation, by the way. That's better. That's it. How come the astronomer? I don't know. I feel I need to be unfailingly polite to the AI, but I do. Yeah, it's still a little messed up.
Did you put the what do you call it? The thing behind S, like you're showing it plural. Did you put that in there?
The thing behind.
Yeah, I forget what they call it. They're trying to show something plural. Like Kelly's Kelly apostrophe S. Yeah. If you take
Yeah.
that apostrophe out, it may make it spread out more.
Oh,
See what I'm saying? On the logo itself, you got the S, then you got the apostrophe right after that. I think that if you take that out, it'll straighten out.
well, this text is from ChatGPT. Oh, I see. Should ask my students to do this. They're probably really good at writing prompts.
Yeah. You tell it to make the alligator smaller.
I can. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Oh,
Oh, geez. Look at that S. What the heck is that? It's got two S's in there. And the A. Wow. $92.87. You know what that means, Ian?
But
The 9 was it 92? No, 92.82?
no idea. See, this is the part where it's filling in the gaps, and this is one of the things about ChatGPT is it can do that.
Hmm.
So now we've hit one of these things where it's going to start doubling down now. Um, and this is ChatGPT.
so Ian, are you proposing we change our logo to one that's this generates?
I was just going to try it. I mean, I not necessarily. I know I don't have a strong feeling about that. I just thought I would, just out
Oh,
of curiosity, see if we could
yeah.
generate a really cool logo, right?
Well, I'm excited. I think it's neat.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
The
so
one we have is copyrighted, but that's not saying we can't.
well, there's no reason we can't do another one or something.
Exactly.
I was just trying to play it around. It was one of those things. I just was doing it one day, and I decided to. Usually, I did it in the middle of doing work for school,
Uh-huh.
for having to write some problems for my classes. So I just started typing in and saying, okay, you know, what about this, right?
Yeah.
What could you do, right? And
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
so you can play around with it. Now, I'd have to play around a little bit with the prompts, because it's I got to research over how you write the prompts to get exactly what you want. But again, I just thought I would do that because I thought it was kind of cool,
It is cool.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
does anybody have another astronomy question they want to ask just to see if it works?
How about what Gerald suggested, making the alligator smaller?
Yeah, maybe by a factor, say 10% smaller or something like that. Keeps adding telescopes, which is good.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, oh, we just need to do the O right there.
Looks like
That's not,
looks
yeah,
like he ate that telescope.
yeah, this is actually better. What are the other little symbols, I wonder? Just, I guess they're just,
that's probably what's messing up the proper spelling.
I like this color scheme though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely fits in. Back to that.
Yeah. All other elements intact. See, this is a classic example.
So what would you call the outer circle, I guess, where Grand Strand Astronomers is written in there? Can you tell it to remove all other figures? figurines or whatever they're called, icons.
Misspelled astronomers. It's
Astronomers, I know.
pretty bad if I catch a spelling error.
Yes, he's not picking that up. All the symbols from the outer ring, leaving only the text Grand Strand Astronomers, which is
Yep.
clearly wrong. We probably have to start again from scratch. We probably confused it.
Wait a minute, you saying AI got confused?
Yeah, it can very easily get confused. So how do we get let's see, where do we talk about that again?
So you said this is a paid version?
Yeah,
Because I've been
before,
around with the free version.
so they keep changing the way it works. How do you start a new conversation?
Tell to forget the old one.
Nice to meet everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
Hi, I got soccer practice this Saturday, and you're welcome to watch me play goalie or defense in my soccer game.
Mm.
Our first game would be like in August or September. So my coach always tell me to use the overhand. When you're like throwing the soccer ball.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And we got 7 players on our soccer roster, soccer team.
Mano, are you in the right meeting? This is the Grand Strand Astronomers?
Yeah, I'm learning about astronomy or astronomers.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're in the right meeting.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So does anybody want to ask it an astronomy question?
I got one. As an astronomer, how do the planets like revolve around the sun? Or how does a astronomer um use like a rover or a machine to man maneuverate or use motions?
Well, let's try your first question. How do the planets revolve around the sun? I'm just want to see. I mean, we know the answer, but so let's just give it a try. See what it says. Okay. So they revolve around the sun due to gravitational force exerted by the sun combined with the inertia of the planets. That's correct, right? And it gives you a bunch of key points, right? Like the gravitational force, because the sun's the most massive object in our solar system. It has a really strong pull on the planets, right? But the fact is the planets are moving, right? So that causes them to basically kind of orbit the sun. And the elliptical orbits. Oh, I give you all kinds of stuff. Elliptical orbits. They're not perfect circles, but ellipses. That's correct. Let's see. Kepler's first law. That's correct. The speed at which a planet revolves around the sun depends on its distance from the sun. That's it. Okay. So that's actually a pretty good answer. What does everybody think? Pretty good answer?
Yep. Yep.
Does anybody
I
want to ask?
always use the example of a yo-yo on I think it's called the around the world. You flip the yo-yo down, you spin it around. The finger becomes the sun, the strings are gravitational pull, and the yo-yo is actually the earth going around the finger. That's what I use for kids. I think it's very good, very simple.
Yeah. I just thought we'd ask it a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah,
to see
that's
how,
interesting.
how ChatGPT answered it and whether it made things up. If somebody want to ask it somebody give me a telescope question. See how
Like, what is the angle or the degree?
are you asking how you define a degree or?
How to like define the degree when you're using a telescope?
Oh, yeah, the right ascension. Yeah.
And it's hard to see when the telescope is so small because you use your eye to see all the dark stars or the universe when it's so dark.
Maybe if we ask it, let's try asking a little more technical question about a telescope. And I'm just curious to see if it will actually give us a decent answer. Well, let's see. What do we want to ask it?
So we could do a simple magnification question, like I've got a 20 millimeter eyepiece on a 8-inch Dobsonian with a 1219 focal length. What's the magnification? Simple division, right?
Like multiplying by the number.
I'm sorry, you said 8-inch. What's focal length? Gerald, you said 8-inch.
Yeah, 8-inch Dobsonian with a 1219 millimeter focal length.
$12.19 millimeter.
Yes.
Now let's see if that works. Oh, I didn't ask it the magnet. Yeah, okay. It guessed what it was asking me, right? I typed enter too quickly. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it gives you the right answer.
It shows you how to calculate the magnification. Focal length of the telescope divided by the focal length of the eyepiece. So in this case, 1219 divided by 20 gives you 60, well, roughly 61. And even rounds it for you. How nice. Additional information. Now, this is actually pretty cool. Field of view. So this goes back to your earlier question, Manu, about how much you can see, with a particular telescope setup, right? If you know the apparent field of view of the eyepiece.
Wow.
So the apparent field of view times magnification. So in this case, if it's a 68-degree eyepiece, it's 1 degree, a little over 1 degree. They also give you the exit pupil.
Wow.
Which is kind of nice, right? So for those of you that don't know what an exit pupil is, I assume everybody knows what that is, but it's really basically when you're looking through the eyepiece, it's how big an image is created by the eyepiece. And why that's important is that your pupil's only so big. I think at most it gets to be about what, 7 millimeters. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong with that. So that if you get
I
an
think
extra,
it's 7 millimeters when you're a youngster.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
age, it's more like 5.
more like 5, yeah. When you're old like me, it's like 5. So if your exit pupil, if you do the calculation, your exit pupil is too big, then you're actually kind of losing some of the light. It's really not getting as bright an image as you could. So that's interesting. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It does all that extra. And my I've got a wide eyepiece. It's 82-degree
Right.
piece.
But it's interesting. It gives you all the calculations, and they look
Right.
correct.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So that's actually pretty cool. Be another good one. What is oh, you want to give it a hard question that's really hard to answer?
Yeah.
Which is better, a Newtonian, refractor, or SCP?
We're learning about telescopes and planets and solar systems.
Again,
Wow.
I thought we just look at this to see what it gives you. See if it gives you any wacky stuff, right?
Covering itself, that's what it's doing.
Do what?
It's covering itself.
Well, I mean, this is really an impossible to answer question, right?
Yeah.
The 3 basic types of telescopes, the Newtonian, the refractor, and the Schmidt, right? And actually, it's a pretty good opening paragraph. It says it depends on your specific needs, interest, and observing conditions. Excuse me, sorry. Each type of telescope has strengths and weaknesses, making them better suited for different kinds of observations and users. That's actually a pretty good answer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the one, Newtonian, right? Which has the concave primary mirror. The light bounces off, right? Advantages, aperture for cost, very
That's a good
cost
one.
effective. Yeah, true. No CA for sure, because it uses all mirrors. And versatility is good. Yeah, okay. Disadvantages, collimation. I think everybody would agree with that. Got to do it you got to adjust it every time you take it out. Bulkiness, they're pretty heavy. And open tube, right? So you can, especially during pollen season, that's quite the mess. The refractor telescope, that's a traditional one. So that uses lenses, right? It's what most everybody thinks of as a telescope. Advantages, sharp, high contrast view. Yeah, that's true. Low maintenance. Yeah. Portability. Yeah. Disadvantage, CA. Yeah, that makes sense. And cost. Yeah, because they're the most expensive kind. But notice it had a little problem here as it sort of like stopped. Couldn't come up with the answer for, well, maybe it did. No, couldn't come up with the answer for SCT.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't know what an STT is.
Come on. That's good. Good girl.
Oh, you're giving it a hint.
Yeah, well, again, it is chat. I'm just curious, again, what makes it, again, it will keep adjusting stuff.
No, there
Yeah.
it is.
right? So that's why they call it Chat GPT. You do have to kind of interact with it, right? So compact and portable, yeah. For SCTs, versatile, yeah. Go to, yeah. Cost, cool down time, narrower field of view, yeah. That's actually a pretty good answer for the
Yeah.
basic types of telescopes. So
Wow.
it's just when you ask, sometimes I've noticed when you ask more technical questions, it tends to really start bogging down, right? If there's not a lot, like if you ask something really nichey, where there's not a lot of references, then it tends to struggle a lot with it.
Does this pull information off the internet worldwide?
Yeah, it basically the way these generative AI systems work, like Chat GPT. I think this one's from 2021 or 2022. It basically goes out and it scrapes the internet for a whole bunch of information, right? And then basically so when you ask it a question, it's not actually doing an analysis. It basically it's coming up with a statistical likelihood of what the answer is based on all the stuff it's read. And that's part of the problem, is that because it kind of scrapes the internet, as everybody knows, the internet has a lot of good information on it, has some so-so information on it, and it has some bad information on it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that gets mixed in sometimes. And then what it's actually giving you, it's not actually doing any kind of analysis, or just like the math that we had it do earlier. It's not actually doing math. It's just saying, oh, it's statistically likely that when you do this division, this is the answer, right? Which is why it works very well for simple questions like this. What we found out in the testing that we've done is when you start asking it for really any kind of critical analysis, it struggles a lot unless there's a fairly decent sized body of work on that, or a publicly available decent body of work. So yeah, it's not actually calculating. It's not actually, and the other problem is that, like, if I were to ask it for, say, say I was writing a paper for school, right? And I would ask it for some references to support, like, okay, telescopes, right? For example, right? Say, can you give me some papers that were published about telescopes? It will go out and will try to figure that out, right? And what the way it does it, it comes up with, oh, it's statistically likely that so-and-so said this in this venue or journal or magazine, right? But what it doesn't do is it doesn't go check to make sure that's really exists. It's just coming up with something that's statistically likely.
What about
Which
copyright?
Do what?
Does it know about copyright? Does it know the difference?
Well, that's a very good question, and one that's still very much up in the air. There's a lot of people who are saying, okay, copyright, that ChatGPT is using copyright information. Frankly, as far as I know, the laws and certainly the body of current case law hasn't caught up with this yet. Yeah, that's a good question. One of the things you can do that I've seen students do just for fun is you could say something like, confuse me about astronomy. Okay.
Jeez. It's going to write a book.
It says, yeah, okay, weird word for mind-bending facts, right? The universe expanding. Okay. This actually isn't that it's not expanding anything. That's right. No size. Yes, that's right. The dark side. So this is actually
It gets weird.
I'm just weird near a black hole. Yeah, the observable universe is not the whole universe. That's right. 93 billion. The numbers are right. But you can do okay, this one wasn't, the universe could be, this is actually real facts, right? But someone will say something like, confuse me about Star Wars. Okay, something everybody's seen, right? Oh, see, okay. Again, this is interesting because it's changed, right? And that's the cool. That's one thing is they're constantly updating the models. Originally, when you would ask this, what it would do,
like Star Wars?
originally it would give you just a wacky description of Star Wars that was completely wrong and completely confusing. And this is the interesting thing is that, again, last time we typed this in, we got a different answer, right? So they're constantly kind of updating the models. So that is another thing about this is, that they're getting better and better. See, now it's not being as flippant about this. It's actually going out and picking up like, okay, 10 things about Star Wars that, are very confused, right? Confounding elements, right? So it's kind of interesting, getting better and better. It's a great way if you want to learn about some concepts in astronomy, even the free version. But again, the key to using it is, you ask it a question like, can you explain this to me? And then what you do is you can then say, but then you actually want to talk to it and ask follow-up questions. Say, well, I don't really understand this. Can you help? And it'll actually kind of zone in on how you're learning things. And it provides a really good way to understand a concept. I mean, even the basic Chat GPT will do that. Let's actually try that and see if the legacy model gives us a different answer. Nope. So it doesn't anymore. It doesn't give you that previous answer. So again, it's constantly updating. But it can do it can generate all kinds of material for you, if you're pretty specific, right? That is part of it too, is being really specific, right? So it's interesting. I notice a lot of the younger students we have actually have like a Chat GPT window open pretty much all the time, and they tend to knock a lot of things into it. It is a great way to learn about concepts. You don't want it doing your work for you, right? Because you really don't learn anything. But it really is a great way to have the concepts explained to you. And again, this one we're using now, the ChatGPT 4, is free, and anybody can use it.
Nice way to learn.
It is, because it gives you an explanation, and as you start talking and asking it questions, it sort of like figures out what kind of explanations or the way of explaining it works for you, right? So it has a potential to really be pretty individualistic, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just going to some web page and reading it. I mean, I've seen web pages where I've walked away totally confused, right? And then other times I see web pages that are really good at explaining stuff, right? Well, I thought I thought we'd just play around a little with that just to see what we got. I was really interested about the logo. I'm not sure. I basically have to go figure out how to get it to kind of move toward what we want on like a logo. But we can play around with it, and maybe if we get something we have to Photoshop a little bit, that's fine. But I again, it was just a little experiment I tried one day when I was there, and I saw, maybe I'll generate an image, because I had actually generated some images for my classes. So I think I don't know if I've got one of those or not. Let's see if I've got that. I generated an image. Yeah. So I actually generated this image for one of my classes for ChatGPT for my observational astronomy class coming up, right?
So how did you get it to generate that?
I think I said generate a class in observational astronomy or something about a class in observational astronomy, and it came up with that. The other one that I did, hold on, that would probably be give me a second. Again, I apologize. I was not prepared for tonight. I think I said, like robotic telescopes. And it gave me yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just hunting it up here. Fortunately, I have multiple directories. Of images. All right, let's see if I can find it. All right, so yeah, here's a couple things I did. All right, so everybody, sorry to keep flipping back and forth on the screens. So I had to do a thing on AI and astronomy. And so I said, give me an image of AI and astronomy, and this is what it gave me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I said, can you generate an image for AI and astronomy, right? And then I did, I wanted astronomy.
It looks really awesome.
I'm sorry?
I mean, it looks really awesome learning about astronomy.
That does look pretty awesome because it not only does have like the robot here, but it has all the like the galaxy pictures and all that and the planet. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And again, that came from a simple prompt. The other thing I did is, so I wanted an astronomy class advertisement, right? So here's how I got there. I said, can you create an image to advertise an observational astronomy class? And it gave me this, which is not bad, right?
Yeah.
But then I said, can you make one to appeal to older, like college age students? And that's when it gave me that.
Nice.
So it's kind of at its best when you try to let it be super creative. And again, it just saves me time finding images.
How could we incorporate this into our website?
Well, we probably actually, that's a great question, Tim. We probably could actually have it write some more content for our website, and maybe even write some newsletter articles. I guess I just volunteered, didn't I, to write a newsletter?
I love writing newspaper articles.
Good.
Yeah, so that's a great idea, Tim. Yeah. Yeah, I have to think about that.
Put it on your list.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because well, I'm old, so I don't automatically think of going to ChatGPT when I need something like a lot of younger students do.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, what I meant is using it to create a when you go to different pages, you get different images, like in the background or something like that.
Yeah, it's great at stuff like that, but I just didn't think about that. Right. Good idea, Tim.
I know you gave me the rights to go in there and all that, but I haven't done it because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, that's okay. I should probably set an automatic backup anyway. I'll take a note to do that. So that if there, like,
Oh, hey, have you ever used a chat GBT?
so I'll try to set an auto backup, Tim, on the website.
Okay.
It's probably a good idea anyway. So it automatically backs up periodically. So that in case you do want to make any changes or anything happens.
I'll check with you first anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if we have the automatic backup, we can fix that. We can just go roll back to what we have. Our content doesn't change that fast. Yeah, so I mean, there's some interesting stuff here, right? It's I think it's changing pretty much everything because it does a pretty good job on basic stuff, right? And even if, say, you're going to write an article on like how to choose a telescope, what a lot of people are doing is they're actually going and ask ChatGPT to either create an outline or they say write an article about how to choose a telescope, and then they'll take it and they'll edit it, right?
Ah,
Add their style. And it turns out you can do things a lot faster that way. Just interesting. I didn't mean to get off on a tangent on ChatGPT, but I thought it turned out to be pretty interesting, I think. So
I liked it. Learned a
yeah,
lot.
it's a good tool. Again, like I see all the young students, that'll be one of the first things they'll go to is ChatGPT for stuff, as opposed to even before they Google. So, but as an older person, I tend to Google first, and then I thought, oh well, maybe I should use ChatGPT. So,
I mean, you could do articles on lenses, astrophotography, what cameras are best for your astrophoto. I mean, it's endless. I mean,
and like I said, it's a really good. You can get it to draft an article for you, and then you can tweak it and move things around how you want. So,
yeah, great.
actually, let me try that. I'll try that as an experiment. No, it's a good idea.
So one of my friends told me about GPT. And I stand there at the ocean, I say, looking out over the horizon, and I said, okay, Chat GPT, how far is the horizon from here? The visible horizon. And it gave me the whole formula. And told me, based on some assumption I was 6 foot tall and standing right at the edge. And told me about 3 miles, 2.9 miles out. But the interesting thing was it gave me the whole equation of how it came up with it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's really good for looking up stuff like that. So, just interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. That was kind of a cool discussion. Turned out.
I think that worked out great.
I will work real hard to get a different speaker next month, so you don't have to listen to me talk.
So I can tell my friends about ChatGPT.
Yeah, and how useful it is. I'm trying to get a speaker to talk about the new automated telescopes like the Sea Star. And, I mean, I know they sort of look like toys, but I know a lot of very good amateur astronomers who have been using them quite a bit and say it's really pretty interesting to use them. And so I'm trying to get somebody who's been an amateur astronomer a long time to talk to us about his experiences with the Sea Star and what makes it useful for him. Because I mean, he has a bunch of other telescopes. He's done astrophotography, all kinds of things, right? So, and he's finding he uses it more and more. So, kind of interesting. I'm trying to get him lined up for a presentation to talk to us, and hopefully in the fall he can even put it outside and maybe run it a little bit. So, and show us how it works. So, hopefully that's one of the ones I'm trying to get, and I'm trying to see if I can line up a little more scientific presentation. So stay tuned, and I'll try to get that information out to everybody.
Do you want my email so I can look at it?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Would you like my email address so you could email me?
Well, so yeah, are you a club member or?
I mean, it'd be my first time being a club member.
Yeah, I mean, so you can always, as far as the meetings, you can always check the website, our website, because that information is always listed right there, right? So that's the gsastro.org, or you can just Google Grand Strand Astronomers.
So I can look at a real telescope.
Right. So we also have observation sessions once a month. Uh,
Ball seeing.
That'd be kind of cool seeing the observation sessions.
I'm sorry, everybody. My phone went off, and unfortunately, I'm using the shocks, and I didn't realize it bumps me off when the phone goes off. So even the ringtone. So I apologize for that. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we do have a observing session once a month, and that if that a bunch of folks come out with telescopes, there's an opportunity to look through telescopes if the weather is good. And again, you can check our website for that.
What is the website? Maybe I can write it down.
It's gsastro.org.
How you spell it?
gsastro.org. You can
G
also Google Grand Strand Astronomers.
Grand Strand Astronomer.
If you Google Grand Strand Astronomers.
I can look up the information.
Yes, that'll have all the information.
Okay, that'd be a cool class.
Okay, everybody. Well, that's all I had for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop.